Okay, let's unpack this. When you think Tamiya, well, you probably flash back to radio control cars, right? Speed, the trap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Porsche 934 Turbo RSR from '76.
Exactly. That car was huge. It basically kicked off the whole global RC car craze, the one that really defined, the 80s hobby scene.
It did. And look, the Porsche deserves its fame. It brought really good RC to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But if you dig into the timeline, like really dig into the engineering,
Mm-hmm.
Tamiya's core radio control know-how, it wasn't built on rubber tires and asphalt. It was actually forged years before
Yeah.
in, well, heavy metal, military tanks.
And that's really the heart of this deep dive, isn't it? We've been going through Tamiya's archives, specifically their radio-controlled military stuff, chronologically.
Right.
And the story it tells is fascinating. Seems like they use these complex tracked vehicles, the tanks, to figure out all the hard engineering problems first.
Spot on. And those solutions, they worked out for the tanks. They were then sort of simplified and applied straight to the wheeled vehicles that came later and became such massive hits.
So our mission here is to trace that path, to see how their guiding principle, what was it, first in quality around the world.
That's the one. How that motto took them from, believe it or not, a post-war lumber business.
A sawmill, yeah, in Shizuoka City in 1946, Yoshio Tamiya.
Exactly. And that background matters. It shows their roots are in manufacturing. They didn't fully switch over just to making models until 1953.
Okay, so that manufacturing focus, that brings us to our first, almost unbelievable story. How a global standard got created purely by accident.
It's genuinely fascinating.
Yeah.
You see how something totally practical, a mundane technical need can just, boom, define an entire hobby worldwide for, what, 60 years now?
Wild. So they moved from wood models to plastic late 50s.
Yeah, the Battleship Yamato kit in 1960 was their first all-plastic one. Big deal at the time.
But the real turning point, the one that set the standard, was the next year, 61, a motorized German Panther tank kit.
Ah, the Panther.
And today, anyone who builds military models knows 135 scale. It's just the scale. Everyone uses it.
And why? Because Tamiya needed room inside that Panzer for 2 batteries.
Seriously. That's it. 2 C-cells dictated the size for millions of models and figures for decades. That sounds made up.
It's pure engineering practicality. Shunsaku Tamiya, the founder's son, talked about it later. They just needed the model big enough to hold the gearbox and, crucially, those 2 bulky C-cell batteries. That size just happened to work out to 135 scale.
Okay.
And then, because Tamiya's kits were so good, so much better than the competition, well, other companies making tanks, figures, accessories, they had to make them 135 scale too.
To be compatible.
Exactly, to fit with the market leader. They weren't aiming for a standard, they were just trying to make their motorized tank work properly. The standard was a side effect.
Okay, so if fitting batteries set the physical scale, the next piece is even crazier. The tanks apparently set the electronic scale, too. We all think of the '76 Porsche as the dawn of Tamiya RC.
Yeah, the car gets the spotlight. But the actual RC story starts earlier, significantly earlier. Tamiya's very first radio-controlled model kit, November 1974.
Okay, what was it?
A tank. A massive 1/16 scale M4 Sherman.
A Sherman, before the Porsche.
2 years before. And get this, just to show how early they were playing with this stuff. That first Sherman RC, it used a wired remote control box. Not even fully radio yet.
Wow. Okay, so here's the real twist then. The RC legacy we know, the fast cars, it was actually born from the slow, heavy, tracked world of armor.
That's the core insight. Tamiya already knew how to make complex, motorized static tanks, right? They had gearboxes, working suspension.
Right, the static kits were already pretty advanced mechanically.
So they took that expertise and tackled the really hard RC problems on the tanks first. Think about it mechanically. An RC car, basically, needs 1 motor for drive, maybe a servo for steering. Relatively simple.
Okay.
A tank is way more complex. You need 2 motors, 1 for each track, perfectly synchronized. To turn smoothly, 1 track speeds up, the other slows down. Or they even have to counter-rotate for spinning in place.
Ah, I see. That dual motor drive, coordinating speed, braking, turning, spinning, that's the difficult bit.
That was the hard problem they cracked back in '74 with the Sherman. Once they figured out that intricate system for a tank, well, adapting and simplifying it for a 4-wheeled car like the Porsche, that was a much easier step, technologically speaking.
So the RC car boom was actually built on tank technology, not the other way around.
Precisely. It was a derivation. Which leads us nicely into, really, the ultimate expression of Tamiya's realism. The 116 scale, full-auction tank series.
These things are legendary and expensive.
They are. They're not just models. They're like immersive historical simulators with thousands of parts. The modern series really kicked off around 2000 with the Tiger early production kit.
And full option refers to the electronics, right? The brain power inside.
Yeah, it's mainly two key units. The DMD, that's the digital motor drive control unit, and the MF, the multifunction unit.
Okay, and what do they do?
They basically orchestrate everything. They sync up all the physical actions, the tank moving, the turret turning, the gun elevating, with incredibly realistic light and sound effects.
And we're not talking simple beeps and boops here.
Oh no, not at all. We're talking about an almost obsessive level of detail. It's what justifies that premium price. They're selling an experience.
Give me an example of that obsession.
Okay, the King Tiger kit. Perfect example. To get the engine sounds right, Tamiya literally sent a team to the Saumur Tank Museum in France.
Wow, France.
Yep, to digitally record the actual sound of a real King Tiger's Maybach V12 engine. Every roar, every clank, even the specific metallic rattle of the tracks moving, that's the level they go to. It's historical sound preservation almost.
That's incredible dedication. What about like the main gun firing?
Equally intense. It's not just a little flash. The electronics trigger a bright LED muzzle flash, a loud synchronized bang from the speaker, and a dedicated high-speed motor kicks in to make the entire tank chassis physically jolt backwards.
Whoa! Actual recoil simulation.
Powerful recoil. It really sells the force of the cannon. It's an amazing effect. And then for people who want to take it further,
There's more.
there's the optional Tamiya battle system. Infrared emitters in the gun barrel, sensors on the tank, lets you have actual battles with other full-option tanks, damage simulation, hits registering. There's a whole global community around it.
Okay, so that's the peak, the 116 scale monsters. But to me is clever. They use that tech elsewhere too, right? Like the 135 scale RCs.
Absolutely. The 135 RC line is strategically brilliant. It caps right back into that standard scale they accidentally created decades ago. Think of all the people building static 135 tanks.
Huge community.
Exactly.
Huh.
So Tamiya offers them RC versions, Panzer the Fierce, Sherman, lots of others. It's a perfect, relatively low-cost way for those static modelers to try RC without leaving their favorite scale or ditching all their existing figures and scenery.
And are these kits simpler than the 116 ones?
Oh yeah, much simpler. They use compact gearboxes. They still have proper proportional control, which is key.
Meaning you get fine control over speed and steering, not just on-off.
Exactly. Crucial for realistic movement. And they often have simplified infrared battle systems, too. Makes the jump to RC much less daunting than tackling a huge full-option kit.
Okay, that makes sense. Then there's the other scale, 125. That seems less common.
It is. And that's where you see some really interesting economics, specifically the economics of nostalgia. We're talking tanks like the Chieftain, the Centurion kits, originally from the late 60s, early 70s.
So old molds.
Decades-old molds. And making big new molds like that is incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
So what does Tamiya do?
They reuse the old ones?
Precisely. They leverage those fantastic high-quality vintage molds, saving a fortune on tooling, and they pair them with modern, reliable, compact RC systems, usually 2.4 gigahertz radio gear, like their MC07 control unit.
Smart. They're like revitalizing old assets.
It's pure business savvy, saves huge R&D, taps into the collector market that loves that vintage look, but gives them modern RC performance. It's a great way for the high-end R&D from the 116 tanks to kind of filter down and bring classics back to life.
Speaking of bringing things back, let's shift gears slightly. Beyond the tanks, there were some wheeled military vehicles that were huge, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the late 70s, 80s. And this sort of blended scale looks with personality.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about icons like the FMC XR311 combat support vehicle from 77.
Yeah, that was cool. But also
Wild Willie.
Wild Willie,
Yeah.
1982. And the Fast Attack vehicle, the FAV from 84.
Those were game changers because they broadened the appeal massively. They weren't just serious military scale models anymore.
It was the personality, wasn't it? Especially Wild Willie, that driver figure.
It's pure genius.
Yeah.
That cartoonish, determined driver figure and the Jeep's ability to pop wheelies on command. It gave it character, fun.
Right.
Took military-style hardware, which was often seen as kind of niche or serious, and made it fun, accessible even to kids or casual bashers. That created a really strong emotional connection, built brand loyalty that lasts generations.
And that loyalty, that nostalgia, that's why the re-releases are such a big part of their business now, isn't it? It's huge. They re-release these legendary kits, sometimes even keeping the original kit number, targeting people who had them as kids or always wanted one.
And are they identical re-releases?
Not quite. That's the clever part. They usually keep the original much-loved body shell and the overall look, But underneath,
Updated chassis, better electronics.
exactly, more durable materials, modern speed controllers, reliable 2.4 gig radio gear. So you get the classic look you remember, but with performance and durability that meets today's standards. It's capitalizing on nostalgia perfectly. One set of old molds keeps generating revenue, decade after decade.
It really ties everything together, doesn't it? That consistent Tamiya philosophy, quality first, that incredible realism like the summer recording.
And just really clever engineering, whether it's accidentally setting a global scale standard or figuring out complex tank drivetrains before anyone else.
So looking ahead, what's the path for Tamiya's military RC? Seems like a dual path, really. On one hand, preservation. Keep doing those successful re-releases. Keep converting more of their massive 135 static kit back catalog into affordable RC versions.
Makes sense. Keep mining the legacy.
And on the other hand, innovation. Keep pushing the envelope with the high-end 116 line, maybe brushless motor systems for even more power and control, expanding features like the gun stabilization system they already have on the Leopard 2 and the Abrams.
That system is amazing, where the gun stays locked on target even when the tank is moving over rough ground.
Yeah, incredible tech. So more of that kind of cutting-edge realism.
Okay, so that brings us to maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about this. Tamiya's most accessible, maybe most beginner-friendly RC kits today are those little 135 tanks.
Right, the descendants.
And they are the direct technological descendants of those super complex 116 tanks they perfected way back in the mid-70s.
Yeah.
Before the RC car boom, everyone remembers.
The Sherman laid the groundwork.
So, does this change how we should look at a company's success story? Should we look past the big commercial, hit the Porsche in this case, and find the earliest, hardest technical challenge they truly mastered, even if that first product, the M4 Sherman RC, wasn't a huge seller itself?
It's a really interesting question. What foundational armor, what core technical achievement that maybe wasn't the big seller at first is hiding in the history of success stories in your field?
Yeah.
Something to chew on.